Morning, Mark. Hope you're well.
Good morning, Happy New Year. I'll say Happy New Year to all of you, just so it'll probably save you a bit of time. I hope you're all well. Happy New Year, Dan. You get the first one.
Happy New Year to you. I suppose games between United and Arsenal over the years have always been tight. So, again, obviously pretty much neck and neck in the table. So, what do you feel is going to be the difference going into the game this weekend?
It's always big moments in these games, Dan. It's always who can take the big moments. They tend to be, even the one, I think it was last season where, they get an advance on us. We come back into the game. I think it ends up being 4-3. So it ends up being a close game. But, I think, look, there are a few factors, aren't there? That we're both coming back from an from a break, basically, Christmas break. I think all teams will kind of be at different kind of stages. But the reality is for us, Dan, is just we've got to maximise what we can. We've got to play our game effectively as what we're really good at. But also understand that, they can create magic moments and so can we. So it's always one of them as a neutral. It's exciting to watch. But I think we have to go into the game, focus, give absolutely everything. And with the quality we have, we can create chances to win the game. I've no doubt about that.
Obviously, 2 new players in the group, quality players that you brought in. You've got some business done early. Obviously you're a European club now. So how do you feel like the club are kind of adapting to that? It feels like you're kind of getting ahead of the game and you maybe climatised into that maybe a little bit more than what you've done previously.
Yeah, the reality is, Dan, prior to this season, we haven't had Champions League football, so we've not been a European club. So you can't sit and wait. I think you have to keep moving. You have to keep evolving. The 2 players we brought in, Hannah and obviously Leah, will add so much quality. I've said this before. I'm really happy with the quality of my team, but it needs more experience and the ability to keep bringing that quality into the game. And both players in both their different areas will add so much quality in different ways to our team that I'm really looking forward to. But again, who knows? There's still time in the window. I'm sure there'll be more work, potentially ins and outs. So, hopefully we can add to that group and, keep pushing towards those 4 competitions we're in this second part of the year.
Thanks, Mark. That's great. Best of luck for the weekend. Thank
you.
You
Have a great day, mate.
Thanks, Dan. Asif, please.
Hi, Mark.
Good morning, Asif. Happy New Year to you too.
So the game against Arsenal Saturday will be your 100th in the WSL with Manchester United. You're only the 6th coach to achieve that at one club. In a month where top coaches in the men's and women's games have been sacked, how grateful are you to those at United that they've shown faith in you to lead this massive club into the future? You
always come up with those beautiful little snippets. I never even know that, Asif. I'll have to come to you for this research. Look, I've always said this. I'm privileged. It's an honour to be Manchester United manager. I think for anybody in any part of their career it will be. So to lead the team into a 100th WSL game, means the world. But what I'd say to you is that if I'm not done yet, I think in the longevity of your career where you're at. If you'd have said to me, would I have been manager of Man United for 4.5, 5th season? You never know you're going to get that long in football, right? We live in a different world now. So to say that, I think is an honour for me and obviously my family, and to lead a fantastic group of fans and a fantastic club. But I'm not done yet, Asif. I've got much more I want to achieve. So it only makes it stronger in my will to win, and I want to lead this club into even creating more history.
So Leah Schiller is probably the headline signing of the window so far. Is she ready to start on Saturday? And I've only seen her play as a central striker. Is that where you see her playing? And what does that mean for Elizabeth Turland? Are the 2 now competing for one starting place, or is there a scenario where the 2 of them could start together on Saturday?
There absolutely is a scenario where they could both start together, Asif. Yeah, I think, look, you're right. She's a fantastic central striker, Leah, and so is Terry. So for me, it's trying to get the best out of both of them and in the right moments. And what I want to make sure is that we still have that threat, Asif, in games. You need the intensity for 90 minutes in 3 games a week. And we just didn't have the depth to be able to do that. And so what I want to make sure is they both get the opportunity to show their qualities and we can get them goals. We need to supply them, Asif. So if we can do that, that Leah in training has looked fantastic already, and Terry's looked even sharper for it. So it brings that added competition, but in a friendly way, like in a really good way. So Leah, we've got a couple more training sessions before we go into the game against Arsenal. But yeah, of course she's in contention to start. But so is Terry, because she's in fantastic form herself.
Cheers. Best luck on Saturday.
Thank you, Asif. Have a great day.
Thanks. Amy, please.
Morning, Mark.
Good morning, Amy. How are you? I do apologise if my throat goes. I've got a little bit of a hangover cold, so I'm going to try and clear it, and then I'll be back with you.
I'm glad you said cold. Then I thought you'd been down the pub when you've got pressure.
No, I don't do that, mate. I'm a parent. I don't do that. If I see 9 o'clock at night, I've done well.
There was some reporting in The Guardian last week that you've extended the contract to Ella Toon, Elizabeth Turlin, Lisa Nelson, Gabby George by a year. Are you able to offer any sort of comment or confirmation on that from your end? Yeah,
I mean, look, the club always, in part of their contract conversations, always add option years in. It's the same in my contract. So the reality is that just obviously it gives both parties that conversation piece at the end of that. But the reason we've done that is because it gives you then that window to negotiate for potential new contracts. So it's always going to be the way. It was always the way with those 4 players. So those are 4 players that we're having constant conversations with behind the scenes, and Matt and the team are working hard on that. So they've been fantastic for us, and the club will continue to work to try and find solutions for extensions, hopefully, for them.
To all 4, they're all under contract till next summer now, yeah?
All of them are under contract, because I've seen reports, obviously, that they're all out in the summer and we're losing these players. And no, they're all under contract. You have to take it by a certain point in order so that teams abroad can't have conversations. So those players are all under contract now for another 18 months.
Perfect. And just on the transfer business you've done, how pleasing is it to get that done early? So that, you're coming into this, you've got 2 players straight away, and you've kind of got a head start almost on the month. It's not you scrambling around all month for 4 signings. Honestly,
if you ask me, I'd love to get everyone done within the first week, because it just allows them to hit the ground a little bit more, Amy. We play differently to Bayern, we play differently to San Diego, so those players need time to gel with our team. And I want to stress this, as much as they're really exciting players for us. I must stress that we've got to blend them in at the right time. That could be from the start, that could be coming into games. But just to, it's like to bring a player through that has had a totally different experience, you need to make sure that they're okay and they know their surroundings and know their teammates. And we've been working hard this week on relationships, on like what it looks like, and when those 2 players are playing, what it looks like. So we'll continue to do that, but you've seen the quality, the quality of both players. So hopefully the work's not done yet, and we can potentially bring maybe 1 or 2 more in, but we'll wait and see what the window shows for us.
Perfect. Good luck.
Thank you, mate. You have a great day.
Thanks, Amy. Kit, please.
Hi, Mark.
Good morning, mate. Happy New Year to you.
And to you. I suppose, Man United having a really good season, I suppose one of the few criticisms you could say, I guess, is that there hasn't been like a big win over one of the top 4 or 5 other sides in the WSL this year. So looking ahead to Saturday, what might a victory show about your team's trajectory if you were to win at the Emirates?
Yeah, look, I totally understand that. It's what we want as well, Kit. We want to take these games and have those victories. And it's a big game. Look, we know that. I think for both teams, it's a big game. We're sitting right next to each other in the table. And I think, look, the reality for us is when we've played some teams, we've come off the back of like a really heavy week. So hopefully this time we have the kind of physical readiness to be able to go and give our absolute all at the Emirates. We all know as well, though, Kit, that these games they're not give-me's. Like, you've got to earn them. And so we've got to go and earn this game. But I absolutely understand what your kind of conversation is, and that we want to go to the Emirates to try and win. That's the sole focus, but we know how difficult. We also can't forget that we're playing the European champions, so at home. So it's a difficult task, but we're looking forward to the challenge of it, and I hope my team can show the best of themselves.
and you've hinted that there might be more business to come this January either way. But if the transfer window ended today, would you be happy with the size of your squad, or do you still feel you need a few more additions?
Yeah, I mean, look, I think it's more the quality at this point, Kit. I think, like, if we can add, like, I want the depth, but it's got to be the depth and quality. It can't just be numbers. I can't stress that enough. Like, we're still trying to use the youth team players as well. There are a couple of really exciting talents coming through there, so that can add to your group. But if the window is to end now, I'd be really, really happy with the 2 players that we have for the reasons we need them. But hopefully we can still do some work in this window. So I still want to add to it because I still think we need a little bit more depth in certain areas.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Kit. You have a great day.
Thanks.
And you.
Thanks, Kit. Mark, please.
Mark?
Is it Mark?
Mary.
No, Mary, sorry. I can't read from here.
I will say she's got her glasses on as well, so
I know.
she can. Mary, you there?
No, okay, we'll move on to Millie then, please.
Hi, Mark.
Morning, Millie.
Happy
Happy
New
New
Year.
Year to you, mate.
You too. I just wanted to ask a question about 2 of the sort of younger players you've got on your squad being recalled from their loans from Sunderland. What is the plan for Evie and Kira moving forward? Do you see them being part of your first team squad this season, or do you see them being loaned out again?
Yeah, it could be either or. Everything's on the table right now, Millie. We need to make sure that we've got the kind of best situation. It's really weird. So you sit club, you sit individual player, and obviously you sit team. So there's 3 things that you have to think about and consider. What we do in this window, if whatever is the best option comes up for each of those players, then we'll look at it. But right now, they'll be training with the team and making sure that they're in the right space to either play for us, to go out on loan, or potentially move. So what I say to you is the club are working really hard behind the scenes to make sure that we have a plan for each individual. So it's not just about, we're bringing them back and then they're just going to sit. We have to get these girls playing in order for them to reach their potential.
Brilliant. And I just had one more. So
Yes, sir.
obviously there's always that really long break over winter in the WSL. I just wondered, it's almost been 3 weeks since you last played a game. So what are the sort of things that you've been focusing on in training sessions and things like that to really get yourselves prepared for this next game?
I thought
Because obviously it's a really big one.
Yeah, of course it is. Of course, look, and we knew that, and obviously Arsenal know that. I think for us, what's key is to get the refreshed players from the start. We played a whole season in the start of the first part of the year, so it was really important our players switch off, focus on family, focus on love, focus on connection, and then since we've been back in, it is relationship building. Even the tactical stuff, like, no disrespect, it becomes better when you have a better relationship. So we've been working on relationship games, how we communicate, getting up to speed, of course, because we need the physicality. We're going to play one of the best teams, especially in this country, so if not in Europe. So we've got to make sure that we are on it. So those are the details. Those are the added bits. We'll add some tactical refinement today and tomorrow, but really, more importantly, working on those relationships. So important, because if you want to beat Arsenal, you have to make sure that you are good between them, and that you can move them out with the ball. So we've got to make sure that we're good with the ball.